of 75%. So they will be participating with $142,865, and the whole cost of the project will be $190,487. So they'll be paying 75% of the project.
Well, this is nothing but a good thing. So I make the motion, the Board of County Commissioners approve the acceptance of the MAA grant to assist in repair of the roof on the main FBO building for $142,865.
Second.
I got a motion, I got a second. Is there any discussion on this? Seeing here none, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you for all your work.
outstanding. Stormwater drain pipe and on Lepo Road. Who wants to talk about that? Mr. Cook, you enlighten us? Ladies,
Good morning, Commissioners.
take care of Mr. Cook. Okay.
Hey, the Office of Procurement in cooperation with the Bureau of Roads Operation requests your approval to use an existing term contract with Concrete General to replace a failing stormwater drain pipe at 412 Lepo Road, Westminster, in the amount of $108,295.50. This amount is within the approved budget and no additional funds should be necessary.
It's a terrible picture. You should have fixed this like 2 years ago, Kathy. What are you doing?
I don't know. I don't know.
That is pretty nasty.
It is bad. Originally, we were going to line this pipe, but then with going through the MDE permits, and engineering, MDE now wants head walls on both ends of these pipes, so that is what kind of pushed it back a little bit. This project was also sent out to bid. We sent it to 4 contractors. I only received 2 bids back. This bid and then CJ Miller for $119,000.
Well, if you sent them this picture, I can understand why there would only be 2 coming back.
Wait till you see the next one that's coming. That would be better.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, again, this is, what'd you call that last one?
A
Nothing but a good thing?
That's a good thing.
Yeah, I move that we approve the replacement of the failing stormwater drain pipe on Lepo Road in the amount of $108,295.50.
Second.
I got a motion, I got a second. Is there any discussion on this?
Are we digging up the road to do this?
Yes, this
I
is
figured it would be,
complete
yeah.
replacement. Yes, with poured head walls on both ends.
Right, yeah, that's what I thought.
We will be shutting the road down during the day. We're getting signs posted next week. Board of Ed will be notified, but they will be plating at night, so it is not shut down all night.
All right.
Well, I know that there's thousands of these pipes on the roads throughout the county, and the fact that you all pay attention to this and stay on top of this provides their public safety, because this road washes out, someone can get seriously injured or killed. So thanks for paying attention to all this.
How many miles of pipes do we have?
Miles?
You really want to? I don't know if we have a calculation
I
on
don't know
that.
if we have a footage.
Yeah.
No, okay.
I was
answer's three.
informed that
The answer
your
is C.
department went out and categorized all these with GPS and
Doug
labeled
Brown.
them
Okay.
all. And it was quite impressive.
Yeah. We're
Which-
still working on
We're
that.
still
Well, that's how
working
many
on
there are, I
that,
guess.
And every update that gets done is going in the GIS system with all the new data.
That was very
Everything that's been
impressive tour
done.
that was given on that.
Yeah. Anytime we fix them, we send it over to them and they add it.
And it
to
keeps a running status too, like when it
Right.
was repaired, what's forthcoming.
Life expectancy and all that too, yeah.
Good old Lepo Road.
Yes.
Highly traveled Lepo Road.
It is. And getting,
Actually, it has picked up a lot
It is.
over the years, so.
It is.
I remember when it was dirt.
all them roads up there are getting
Yeah.
heavy travel now.
When you started here.
Well, yeah, right. So, okay, cool. Cool deal.
I got a motion, second. Is there any further discussion? Seeing here none, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good job, Mr. Bokey. Okay, let's talk about funds transfer for circuit court building, bi-directional amplifier, distributed antenna system with a BDA/DAS,
Real technical.
and the importance of this.
Good morning,
Okay.
Commissioners.
Morning.
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 First thing I want to do is thank the sheriff and Corporal Powell for joining us. That way, if you have any questions about what we're going to talk about, they're the subject matter experts of the need, and they can speak to
You're
why.
stretching that, Scott, but go ahead.
All right.
Very much so, but that's all
Very
right.
much so.
Well, we actually have a two-part request before you, Commissioners. I'm going to speak, if I may, to the subject of why a bidirectional amplifier / distributed antenna system is needed, why we're asking for that today. It was reported to us, and I believe it was the end of August, early September, that there was a radio signal issue in the circuit court building. Unfortunately, it was the first we became aware of the deficiency, but because of how serious it is, we felt that it had to be, and everyone agreed it had to be addressed now. It's not something that can wait to some later date, which is why it's not a budgeted improvement. Specifically, in response to the concern for a lack of adequate radio signal, we had it professionally evaluated. The results of the evaluation confirmed there was a problem. We asked the vendor, Hankey's Radio. They are the exclusive radio vendor through our agreement with Motorola. And their proposed fix was the proposed bidirectional amplifier distributed antenna system installation. The cost of that is $26,102, but in order to fund that, we have to request a budget transfer of the appropriate funds so we have the money in order to award the contract. So I believe I'm doing this correctly, that what we need, what we're requesting from the commissioners is a two-part or two separate, that's today two separate decisions. One is to agree to transfer the $26,102 from the reserve from contingency, is that correct? To our budget, public safeties. And then subsequently, we're going to ask you to please allow us to award the contract to Hankey's to do this necessary work.
Correct. Before we move forward, Sheriff, is there any, we got you over here, is there any
Well, first
comments you
I'll
wanna make on
introduce
this?
Corporal Brittany Powell. She oversees court security for me. It was actually Brittany that brought it to our attention.
Okay.
As you know, when you go into the basement of the courthouse, the circuit courthouse, it's just straight up concrete. It's very difficult to get out there. Everybody that comes in, that goes upstairs to the courtrooms that are prisoners, inmates from my jail, as well as anybody that's coming here for a hearing, goes into Corporal Powell's small holding area in the basement, and then is moved up to the courtrooms accordingly.
That's not where you took me.
Yeah, I took you to a special room.
Okay, comment from the cheap seats are not here.
I'm glad he came in.
Just saying, go ahead.
So Brittany brings it to our attention. Ironically, I moved Brittany about a month ago, I think, or a little over a month ago to court security. So she promptly noticed the issue and reached out to Scott, and we started discussing this. I do have the same system in our jail. We had the same problem in the jail, and this particular system works extremely well there. We anticipate it to work well in the circuit court building. And I guess, for lack of better words, we're the end user. So to say I'm a subject matter expert, if it beeps and I can talk on it, if that makes me an expert, then that's me and that's Brittany. All we care about is when something happens and we start yelling on the radio, it works. And down in that area, it isn't working. And that's where the problems can take place with the transfer of inmates.
And this existed from
It's,
the
yeah,
beginning.
yeah. It was.
I believe it reported, Sheriff, that it was a problem since we went to the new digital radio system, but this is the first that it was shared. And again, to the corporal's credit, she became responsible and immediately noted the deficiency, and that's why we're acting on it.
Yeah, I
We became aware of
appreciate
it,
that.
we acted on it.
And Corporal, thanks for stepping up on
So
it.
they're looking for an antenna when you hit that button to start talking, and it just simply can't get through the concrete to find a tower to start communicating on. And so with this new system.
Well, Sheriff, I appreciate you bringing the corporal and giving her recognition. Corporal, did you want to add anything to this discussion? If so, you can approach the mic.
She's going to tell you that she's right today and I'm wrong, and here's why. Because I'm wearing long sleeve shirts and she's wearing short sleeves, and Steve's looking at me like something's wrong because he knows it. I'm wrong and she's right. I got the dates wrong on when we were transferring.
Is it still too early in October? There you go.
Apparently,
Ours was October 15th. Is that what yours is?
it is the same. Yeah.
Ours was always October
I got my
15th.
dates screwed up.
Yeah, we actually pushed it in the fire department. We went to the end of October
did you?
because
Okay.
we found out that it was warm through the month of
These guys would wear short sleeves all year round and put a
Yeah, I
jacket on if I didn't.
Yeah.
That and the shorts thing, that was always a big.
I'm just really psyched about wearing long sleeves and a tie, so I wore them a
That's
little.
good.
As a
earlier,
light
so.
fighter, we had sleeves down year round, which was
Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
miserable. You know,
Waiting for
but,
Tim to say
but
something,
normal
but he
is October 15th.
said nothing
back in the
about
day,
this.
So
We can get you a pair of scissors.
I'm sure you could. Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that this thing was used somewhere else.
Yeah.
Because
We have it at Fleet also, I think.
Yes, we have a couple of BDAs of this exact same, Commissioner, but what's unique is they are designed to the application, meaning this was professionally evaluated,
Okay.
and the design is to meet the unique need in there. So it's the same technology, but a custom application.
okay, that makes sense. There was a generic one put in one of the fire stations in the county that worked 2 out of the 30 days of the month. So this one, if it's specifically engineered and designed for that building, then I'm fine. That's good.
I assure you it is.
How long has this problem been going on? You
I
said,
believe when we did some digging to find out that it apparently has existed since we went to the new digital radio system, but it was just,
which has been,
Not a ton of time.
when did we make the conversion? 4 years ago. I mean,
okay,
Why? Yeah.
yeah, I understand it's a problem and it needs to be remedied. I do get all that, but it's going on for 4 or 5 years, but it's an emergency right now?
I won't use, I apologize if I use the word emergency. I believe the nature of the problem, the fact that it's in where you have court security involved and they have folks that, now that we're aware of it, that we are obligated to act on it immediately.
And
That's
it's
my
not just
position.
us that communicates there, it's the bailiffs and folks that are in and out of there. And quite honestly, if I didn't send Brittany over there, I probably wouldn't know about it, Dennis. It's just, she picked up on it and realized it was a safety issue, and
Right, now that you put it that way, Mr. Campbell, that now we know about, it, we're obligated to act on
Yes,
it,
sir.
that so it puts it in a little different light for me. I appreciate that.
How long will it take to get it rectified, this problem?
That was a great question that the sheriff asked, and the quote doesn't have a performance time, and the problem with that is there's no controlling if there's an issue with getting the device, et cetera. But I will personally say that I am confident that that if this is approved and the work is awarded to Hankey's Radio, that they will pursue this as quickly as humanly possible. I have no doubt they will. So it's not a matter of them scheduling it out in time. It's the instant they have the product they need, they will do the installation.
Okay.
Do they have the product on hand? Do you know?
Not the BDA, Commissioner. My understanding is BDAs are custom fabricated.
So it could be months away or something like that?
I'd say it could be, but I don't expect it to be. I'm trying to think of the last time we had work similar to this done by them, and it wasn't that bad.
Just
It
because
would be
of what
sheer
everything is
conjecture if
now
I
is
said
what
2
I'm
weeks or
saying,
2 months.
You know,
just so, and there is a base radio there, so that gets out, does it not, Brittany? So it sits at, if you almost have to go down there. It's almost like walking into my office where there's a duty officer that sits there, and then behind them there's cells, there's transfer stations, all sorts of things that go on. So they can hit the radio and yell for help. They just got to get up to the base station. If there's something that happens behind them, a portable is hit or miss. It's almost impossible to get out. So they've been surviving that way, and it just took somebody to go over there and analyze what was going on and reach out to Scott, and that's what Brittany did. It makes it optimal if they have the BDA there so that they can transmit without running up to the base station.
And I think, Commissioner, if I may, what adds to the importance to us is just because something hasn't happened yet doesn't mean it couldn't happen tomorrow, and that's our concern, that we need to make sure we do what we can to make sure it can't
right
be
now
an
that
issue.
we're aware of the situation
Yes, sir.
and there's a
Yes,
remedy
sir.
for it, it is our responsibility to fix it. I agree
Thank
with
you.
that 100%.
Okay, so let's move forward in transferring dollars, spending dollars, and watching Sheriff DeWeese do 20 push-ups for being in long sleeves.
That it?
According to the corporal, but you know,
Become
just-
soft, Ed.
It's an
But
easy
20,
way.
20 I can do.
I'm not sure about that, but I'm just saying those long sleeves will constrain the arms. But I'll move the Board of Commissioners approve Resolution 0-23.01 to transfer $26,102 from Reserve for Contingencies 0310 to Public Safety Administration 0114 to fund the purchase and installation of a bidirectional amplifier, distributed antenna system, BDA/DAS, in the Circuit Court Building.
Can you read that one more time?
Yeah, I didn't.
I got a motion, got a second. I will not repeat again. All in favor?
Aye.
Now let's move the Board of Commissioners approve the awarding the in-building bidirectional amplifier distributed antenna system to Hankey's Radio in the amount of $26,102.
Second.
Got a motion, got a second. Any discussion? Seeing here none, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank
gentlemen.
you, and
Appreciate
thanks
it.
for coming on over to,
The fastest I've ever heard you move.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Go forth and communicate.
I'm gonna keep going.
Soon.
None of the rest of us wanted to make that motion.
It's too
Go
long.
forth and communicate.
52 days and 6 sessions left, just saying.
You got the sessions
Okay, let's talk about medical supplies.
The hours, but that's a little bit.
Let's not do that yet.
Okay, gentlemen, Maureen,
Good morning, Commissioners.
learn us.
We are here to request your approval to purchase medical supplies from Boundtree Medical for an estimated annual cost of $350,000. These purchases will be made through a Fairfax County, Virginia contract that was competitively bid. This amount has been approved by the Bureau of Budget and no additional costs are anticipated at this time. If you have any questions, either I or Michael or Kevin will answer your
I
questions.
do have a question. It says annual cost, so the stuff that we're purchasing, the medical supplies, is you can only use it for so many months or whatever before it's
These
no
are
good?
expendable supplies, everything from IVs to bandages.
Okay, so you're expected to have
splints.
to spend this much every year?
The majority
Okay.
of this is expendable.
Okay, I got you. Thank you.
Does the fire system use a class structure in supplies? Military uses a class 1 through 9, or do you not? So I know what I'm purchasing, or no? I was just
No.
curious. Okay, okay. Why Fairfax as a contract vehicle and not another contract vehicle within the state? Is this
We, again, don't have a preference law here in Carroll County. So the Fairfax, Virginia contract is a competitively bid contract. It is a cooperative contract, and we can piggyback off of it. So this was a contract that was looked at by Fire EMS, and it does meet their needs. So this is why we chose to go this way.
We're piggybacking on a state contract for this?
This contract was competitively bid through Fairfax County, Virginia. It's a competitive bid. It was awarded to Boundtree Medical, and any government entity can piggyback off of it. And because it met Fire EMS's needs, that's why we chose to go that way with
Are we
Fairfax, Virginia.
confident this is the best price or a great price?
They give off, they carry a lot of different manufacturers, and they give percentage discounts off of the manufacturer's list price. I can't give you exact prices. I don't have
Right,
anything in
okay.
front of
The
me.
other thing that we're trying to do is, as we transition over a lot of things that the volunteers have historically purchased on their own, we're trying to make it seamless and not with a whole lot of emotion as they have with some vendors. So currently, all 14 of the companies are using this same company. And this company, the ordering will stay the same, the account numbers will stay the same. They'll just become sub-accounts under the Carroll County contract.
That's
So
a good thing. That's great.
yeah, so the same people, our people, as we put them in the stations, will be doing the ordering, but they'll have the same choice of products. And the other thing that this company does, because we'll have limited warehouse space, is they'll actually drop ship it as it's ordered.
Where are they located?
Yeah, in Ohio.
Ohio. So basically, it's a distribution center. It's a vendor, but it's a distribution.
Yep, and they're using name brand products that you would see everywhere. The big thing is they specialize in EMS. So if you look at portion control of bandages, if we're using one field battle dressing, for example, it comes packaged individually. If we would buy through a hospital supply, we might get a case of 100 of those. And with the shelf life and the rotation and things, it's just more cost effective.
How often will we look at this, excuse me, how often will we look at this contract? Is this going to come up every year, every couple of years? Or this is not indefinite for this annual?
I think this particular contract is good through maybe July of '23. So I'm going to assume that the County of Fairfax, Virginia is going to rebid it. And then we would look at that point if we would piggyback on to whoever they awarded it to, or look at other contracts.
Right,
that
but we
may
would look
be
at
out
other places as well.
Yes.
Okay.
And it was competitively bid.
there. Correct.
And there were potential vendors or distribution centers. Actually, no, yes, through, not centers, but different. Were there different contract vehicles being bid, or were there different vendors? I mean,
When I looked
just
up
wanna be
the
clear.
contract for Fairfax, Virginia, I
Yeah.
was not able to locate a page that, it usually will tell me all the vendors that
Yeah.
bid on it. I couldn't find that page, doesn't mean that it's not out there, but with
Right.
limited time,
Right.
I couldn't find it.
Okay.
But whoever did bid this contract, along with Boundtree, Fairfax County awarded it to Boundtree
Right.
Medical,
and you mentioned preference law. We don't have.
correct?
Do other jurisdictions they do have? Other counties or
I
no?
think there are some, I think it's few, because
Yeah.
like I said, when you look at it through the procurement world, it limits competition.
Yeah.
And you might not always be getting the best pricing. So when you don't have a local preference
Right.
law, you are able to,
Go after the best price.
Yes.
Yeah.
but like I said, we have nothing against local vendors, of course, if they can do the job and
Sure.
they bid on it, you know, and they get the lowest price, or they bid on a proposal which is done by quality and pricing, we would certainly award it if they met all that criteria. It's nothing against
No.
local businesses.
Well said. I appreciate that. So.
Yeah, just a point of clarification, you're starting to build a supply here for these, and you're going to be hiring EMTs here in the near future. Is this only then they order out of this for the 3 fire departments you're going with? The other 10 order out of this
Well,
too?
we have two things at work, is the hiring and bringing on the 3 companies, but also each year incrementally, we're taking things that the volunteers are buying individually and consolidating them to get better pricing. So by July the 1st, when we start this, for all of the volunteer companies, and prior to that, it'll be for the 3 companies plus the 3 chase vehicles that we're gonna have, because we gotta start to get all that equipment together now, even though we don't have the vehicles. We wanna have everything ready to go so we can move it across.
So after July, the other 10 companies will not have to pay for these materials?
Correct.
After that.
So through the budget process, CC Visa has an allotment currently for medical supplies, so we will transition that over with. And in fact, I happened to meet with their treasurer yesterday about the very issue that we might want to transition with that sooner, just for cost savings.
Okay, that makes sense.
I noticed on the list, oxygen delivery, and in the welding industry, we use a lot of cryogenics, and that cost has been going through the roof. I was wondering if there's a potential to look at the amount of annual expense we'd have on oxygen systems, whether it's something we could potentially invest in our own cryogenic system to do our oxygen or not, if it could save us money or not. Something.
Yeah,
potentially
we
look at.
we can look at that. There's a lot of moving parts, as you know, because you deal with gases in your business. and-
Certifications and all that.
Correct. So we currently use, oxygen actually doesn't come under this, but oxygen devices, oxygen masks, CPAP equipment, those kind of things.
So it's not the actual cylinders
Right, the
themselves.
cylinders we currently use locally, which we have, I believe, 2 different vendors.
Okay.
And we'll be looking to consolidate those.
Right. Good.
But there is some advantage to the technology you're talking about, doing your own oxygen.
Thank you. I'm glad you're proactive and are already looking
Yep.
into it.
Okay. Any other discussion, questions?
Now, I'll make the motion, we approve the purchase of the medical supplies from Boundtree Medical for the Department of Fire and EMS, estimated $350,000 a year.
Second.
Got a motion, got a second. Any discussion? Seeing here none, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Absolutely, good discussion. Chris, do we have any public comment on the phone?
No one on the line.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Burke, Do we have public comment?
Mr. President, we have two public comments. The first one is from Stanley Pennington. If you would approach the microphone.
Can I let Mr. McMahon go first?
Sure, Matt McMahon also signed up.
Actually, if the two of you are in the same topic, why don't you have a seat in front? This way. Just go from one to the other.
That's a hot seat.
We make it more comfortable for you, so. Okay. Gentlemen.
Good morning, Commissioners. As the district manager of the Carroll Soil Conservation District, I have the honor and privilege of managing a group of dedicated individuals who consistently go above and beyond their assigned duties in their service to the citizens of Carroll County. In partnership with employees from the Maryland Department of Agriculture and the USDA Natural Resource Conservation Service, the Carroll Soil Conservation District staff consistently provide our cooperators with service that is unmatched throughout the state. The vital work done by our staff is a key component in assisting our cooperators in maintaining compliance with various programs, as well as providing much-needed cost share assistance to them. The results of our staff's efforts speak for themselves. Carroll Soil Conservation District has consistently been responsible for the highest number of agricultural best management practices installed by any district in the state. These practices allow our cooperators to maintain productivity within their operations while protecting soil and water quality for future generations. Millions of dollars in cost share assistance, grant funding, and other programmatic payments are provided to our cooperators each year thanks to the hard work of our dedicated staff. Unfortunately, at the present time, the morale among our district staff is at an all-time low, mainly as a result of those employees not being included in the raises recently given to Carroll County employees. Already, when compared to their counterparts in neighboring districts, our employees are paid an average of approximately 40% less, despite outproducing them year after year. When it was announced that Carroll County employees would be receiving raises of 10% and more based on longevity, our staff was cautiously optimistic that their salaries would finally be brought more in line with their colleagues in neighboring counties. When it was determined that employees of allied agencies such as soil conservation were not included, they were greatly disappointed, to say the least. In light of the fact that earlier this month we lost our district technician when she took a higher paying position with another agency, our productivity will no doubt suffer. While we have been given approval to fill that position, it will take time and training before that individual will be able to work independently. Additionally, 3 of my 4 remaining full-time employees are now pondering retirement. While I have tried to encourage them to remain with us a bit longer to help our office meet the final 2025 goals of the Chesapeake Bay Watershed Implementation Plan, their frustration at being excluded from the raises that most of their colleagues received has not helped that cause. Our district is grateful for the numerous times that this Board of Commissioners has shown its support in the past. I look forward to the opportunity of discussing this matter at our next budget presentation, and I, of course, thank you for the opportunity to address you here today.
Okay, appreciate it. Sir?
Good morning, Commissioners. I'm Stan Pennington, and years ago, we had a district manager that wasn't as supportive as the one we have now. And so it was probably 20 years ago or more, I was elected shop steward, and I still am. And it's not a position that I really like to have. But the reason we were so disappointed on these raises is because what Mr. Weaver talked about earlier, 50% of our job, or just over 50%, if we don't do it, county agencies can't complete their mission. With water resources, with permits, Bureau of Engineering, if Brian Snyder doesn't do the sediment control plans and review them, then their mission isn't completed. So it's mandated by the county that we do that. On the ag side, we work very closely with Ag Land Preservation. Last year, we had to perform 95 farm inspections that are mandated that we must do them. They take 3 to 4 hours per inspection. You know, we have to write and rewrite 60 to 70 plans every year to meet the goals of ag preservation. And then on top of that, we get calls from Water Resources, county roads, anything that's ag-related or remotely ag-related, they try to refer to us. And it saves them time because they don't have to work on it, such as fields eroding through backyards, you know, crazy things like that. We get some real requests. Horse rings and farm buildings, we have to write the sediment control plan, and all those things take 6 to 8 hours apiece by the time you're done handling them. We've even had commissioners come to us and say, I have a friend who can't afford to have their culvert pipe engineered. Can you guys do it? And we do it. And when Tom Devilbiss was the director of the Bureau, he would call us and say, hey, I need some help with this. So well over 55% of our duties are really county government duties. And when you take that into account, and you take into account that we bring in over $10 for every dollar we spend on our salaries and our budgets, it's almost like, it almost seems like a no-brainer that we weren't funded to keep here. And those 3 people you're talking about are we're all eligible for retirement. And I kind of committed to Matt that I'd stick around till 26 to help him get through this rough part. But it's kind of disappointing when you're not fed the same. And when you're asked to do all these duties, it's kind of like when you get a honey-do list from your wife and she sends you out the door without breakfast or a kiss goodbye. You know, that's kind of what it feels like. And that's about all I have to say on the matter.
Okay.
I can cook you breakfast, but I'm not kissing you goodbye.
Okay. Appreciate it. And typically we don't have conversation after public comment, but understanding the why, and we've talked a lot about this. And now it's getting down to the what, you know, and we have to figure out what that's going to look like, and the competing priorities between now and, you know, where we're going to go in the budget. But it doesn't go on deaf ears. I'll tell you that right now. And we've had a lot of conversations about this. It's a challenge. I mean, there's no doubt. It's a challenge for you. It's a challenge for us, and we got to figure out what right looks like. But you know, it's the what. So there are a lot of competing priorities right now that are coming to us in the very same kind of breath that you are. Not saying it's wrong, but this is my view. And we just have to continue to figure this one out. So, are there any comments from the guys?
Not at this time.
Yeah.
Very well said. Your presentation laid everything out that we need to consider, and it does not fall on deaf ears. I will say that. We talked about it, and we will continue.
And, you know, again, if you would like to provide what you read, you know, to us, that also always helps, you know, when you get the numbers in front of us, you know, and the impact. You know, again, I understand the why. Now it's coming up with the what. So, okay.
I want to add, thank you for the tour. It was absolutely lovely. I enjoyed your company and conversation. I enjoyed the enlightenment and education of what your department does. I'm just disappointed that it took me 4 years to really find out and understand your department. And hopefully the next commissioners that come in will take a greater interest in your department and your budgetary needs.
It's the best tour you've had in 4 years.
Yeah, especially when I wind up at Weaver's Farm. Thank you.
Head down on a high note.
Okay, gentlemen, thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, are there any other public comments there, Mr. Burke?
Nope, those are the only 2.
Anything for open admin?
No.
Well, not asking you, but that's okay. I'm glad there's nothing from you. No, I really, that makes me feel comfortable and confident knowing that there's nothing more from you in open admin, but
Well,
thank you.
Sometimes the county administrator has a folder full of stuff.
I
so not
understood.
today.
Okay. One comment, the sheriff did reach out to me. As it was shared with us about the crime and the disturbances that are happening in Carroll County, he's able to package it in certain areas of concern, and the jurisdictions are going through the same thing. Sykesville just announced they had a lot of break-ins in this one community, and it's targets of convenience, people having their vehicles unlocked. And they just go from one car to another, open it up and see what's there and grab and go to the next. But the sheriff asked if we would want him to come in and share to us and potential, ways we can continue to advocate for the situation and to the community, that he's available to us. And we can put that on the agenda probably in the next couple weeks, if that's suitable.
Nice to hear what's
Excellent
going on.
idea.
Okay.
December 7th is a good day for that.
Okay.
Agree.
Wanda, why don't you come on up? Is there anything else, open admin?
I mean, what do you want us to do? Go out there and work security or what? So, I mean,
No, it's not for us. It's for the community. So, I mean, we're privy to things that, we can give him the venue and the stage.
Good morning, Wanda.
Good morning.
Okay, Monday the 17th, MSDE Advisory Council on Health and Physical Education as a hybrid. Commissioner Frazier will be participating. Carroll Community College Foundation Scholarship Reception. Commissioner Frazier and Wentz will be attending at 12:30 that afternoon. 12 on Tuesday. There's a planning commission at 9 a.m. Commissioner Wentz will be attending downstairs. A Veterans Advisory meeting, Commissioner Weaver will be attending that. There's a walk in the park in Leicester Park in Hampstead. Commissioner Boucher will be attending. On Wednesday, the 19th, the Carroll Community College Board of Trustees meeting. Commissioner Wentz will not be attending. Do you want somebody there? Should there be somebody there?
based on what you're going to announce next, I don't think anybody's available.
No.
Well, yeah, you're right.
Carroll County Food Sunday 40th anniversary. All five of us will be participating or attending that. Emergency Services Advisory Council, the ESAC. Commissioner Wentz will be attending at 7 p.m. that evening. Huh?
No, you won't.
Why not?
Because I'm going to be at the 6 p.m.
We'll be done by 7.
Yeah.
You need a clone.
Dinner,
Okay.
Dinner and a meal? I don't think so.
You leave every one of them early.
Station?
I know. You need to start early, leave early, move on. Get a doggy bag.
Sure. Okay.
Thursday. So make sure you got that, Wanda.
Yes.
Especially about the doggy bag. Open session on Thursday. We'll be talking about purchasing radios, amending Chapter 34, our ethics ordinance. The ESAC documents will be presented.
EAC.
EAC, I apologize, thank you. Environmental Advisory Council. I was wondering, why is Chris Hine mentioning ESAC? And it'll be led by Mr. Hine. Rural Legacy Program Option and Purchase. The Rudolph and Nancy Haney property. Adoption of changes to Chapter 155. Rezoning Case 226, which is the Max Suite property. Rezoning Case 227, which is the MJY Investments properties, FY23. CIP budget transfer request for the Carroll County Public Schools. And then the FY23 CIP budget adjustment once the transfer took place to the Carroll County Public Schools. That afternoon, we go back into open session, consideration of the bond sale award resolution. At 3 p.m., there's a At the community college, the CDL program ribbon cutting, where Commissioner Boucher, Wance, Weaver, and I will be attending. And then at 6:30 p.m., the Royal Hospital School Children's Concert at the First Presbyterian Church in Westminster, where Commissioner Frazier will be attending. Is that the, like, are they coming from Norway? Where are they coming from? They're coming
I'll
from
say,
somewhere.
I don't know. I got the
Where they're coming-
invitation.
yeah, they're coming from like Norway or Sweden. That's pretty cool.
If
So,
they came all this way, I'd go listen
I'm
to them.
glad you're attending. Friday morning, 9 a.m., BMC, Board of Directors, will be virtual. Commissioner Wance will be participating on Saturday. Pretty excited about this. The Major General Linda Singh Readiness Center down in Sykesville, ribbon cutting. I will be participating in that on
If it's all right with the Colonel, could I attend that with you as well?
It's not up to me.
All right.
I mean,
Well,
it's up
thank
to you.
Yeah, I'll attend in support since I'll be in my future district.
On Sunday, October 23rd, Commissioner Boucher has the podcast. Monday, 24th and 25th, and 26th, nothing is scheduled. Thursday, October 27th, we have approval for the following, the MALF applications. The James and Jennifer Dieter, the Francis Swift and Susan Lynch property, the Karen Syrian property, the Philip and Rita Bassler property, the Maynard Tiart and Teresa Tiart property, and the Mark and Julie Fisher property up in Westminster. And there's more. The Jonathan and Jessica Collins, the Three Russells LLC property in Manchester, Robert Huff's property, and then Cynthia Jeanette property also in Westminster. We will then have talking about Menesis graphics upgrade from DPW, the Saturday Services pilot program update from Mr. Boki and DPW, the request to approve Trailblazer route changes from DPW, approving the CTS safety plan update, the Hoods Mill Road well drilling and testing services project, the engineering evaluation and condition assessments of the Shiloh pumping station, purchase of various water meter parts for the walkout court water meter vault project. Really looking forward to that. The installation of residential water meter vaults on Walkabout Court. The 2022 hot mix asphalt paving program. The refuel. What is that? Something going on at Charles Carroll Community Center. Ruling Associates? Is that? I don't know. There'll be, I don't know if that's a change order. I don't know what that is. If we can find out, that would be a good thing. At 1:30, there's a proclamation at the hospital boardroom for presentation of Stroke Smart Carroll County, and 4 of us will be attending, Commissioner Frazier, Wance, Weaver, and I. Okay. On Friday, 28th, nothing scheduled. On Saturday, 29th, Big Country Breakfast fundraiser at the Carroll County Career and Tech Center. Commissioner Boucher will be attending, and I have the podcast. Is there anything that I may have missed for the agendas?
If I may, before we wrap up, I just want to give a last plug for the Walk in the Park on the 18th, Tuesday at 2 o'clock at Leicester Park. It is a Halloween theme. People will be dressing up. They have a story trail. Children will be there. Walk your dogs. And also, I've been informed that the Carroll County Times will send a photographer there to capture it. and help us promote the public awareness initiative. So if you're available that day, come on out and show support for LifeBridge Partnership for a Healthier Carroll County. Thank you.
Okay, now we're going to be going into recess and then go into closed and then open back up this afternoon for the transportation.
Is that downstairs in the Reagan Room?
Yes.
I think so.
Yes. So I need a motion
Make a-
to do all that. How do we want to say
Make a
it?
motion to go and close for land acquisition.
Second.
I got a motion and a second go into close for land acquisition. All in favor?
Aye.
That's all we need to do? Or do we keep going?
I was gonna say, make a motion to recess after closed until, where's the time on here?
2 p.m.
2 p.m. 2 p.m.
We're 1,400 if you're, you know.
Yeah, well,
Somewhat of a,
I'll second it if you change it to 1,400.
1,400,
I got a motion, got a second. Any discussion?
as long as it's not zero dark.
Mr. Burke, you have any comment on that?
No.
Okay, glad to hear it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we are closed to go into
Land acquisition.
close for land acquisition.